Well, welcome to all of you, and it is a great pleasure, a sincere pleasure, for Barbara and me to welcome to the White House Mr. and Mrs. Mandela. Mr. Mandela, a man who embodies the hopes of millions. In our meetings this morning, he and I will talk about the future of South Africa, and it is my sincere hope that these talks will be productive, discussions that will contribute to positive change toward true democracy and the dismantling once and for all of apartheid. We meet at a time of transition for South Africa. We applaud the recent steps President de Klerk and the government of South Africa have taken to expand the rights and freedoms of all South Africans. These are positive developments, steps toward fully free and democratic future that we all wish to see for all of the people of South Africa. In order for progress to continue, we must see on all sides a clear commitment to change. All parties must seize the opportunity to move ahead in a spirit of compromise and tolerance, flexibility and patience. And from all parties, we look for a clear and unequivocal commitment to negotiations leading to peaceful change. I call on all elements in South African society to renounce the use of violence and armed struggle, break free from the cycle of repression and violent reaction that breeds nothing but more fear and suffering. In the words of the great Martin Luther King, Jr., let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. Mr. Mandela, in the eyes of millions around the world, you stand against apartheid, against a system that bases the rights and freedoms of citizenship on the color of one's skin. That system is repugnant to the conscience of men and women everywhere, repugnant to the ideals that we in America hold so dear. No system that denies the rights that belong to each and every individual can endure forever. Apartheid must end. The United States, committed to the concept of free market and a productive private sector, is ready to do its part to encourage rapid and peaceful change toward political and economic freedom. We will continue to urge American firms that are still doing business in South Africa to play a progressive role in training and empowering blacks and building a foundation for future prosperity. But while the reform process has moved forward, and it has, apartheid remains a reality and genuine democracy a dream. Our sanctions have been designed to support change, and when the conditions laid down in our law have been met, then and only then will we consider, in consultation with the Congress, whether a change in course will promote further progress through peaceful negotiations. Mr. Mandela, we in this country support the struggle against apartheid, and for 2 centuries, we had our own battles. America fought its own battles to promote the standard of equal rights. It was here at the White House, in a room now obscured by these coverings because we're repainting the White House, but it's right there, in the midst of the Civil War, that Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, that great beacon of light and hope. And in the room where this historic document was signed, even now, we feel the power of the undeniable truth that guided Lincoln's hand, that all men must be free. In this past year, freedom has made great gains. A terrible chapter of oppression has ended for millions of men and women in Eastern Europe, in Asia, and in this hemisphere. People have defeated through peaceful means dictatorships that promised freedom and progress, but delivered only poverty and repression. The triumph is far from universal. There are still those who rule through force and terror, but the events of this past year have been clear. The future belongs not to the dwindling ranks of the world's dictators, but to democracy, the millions of friends of freedom the world over. Mr. Mandela, you said many years ago, before the first of your 10,000 days in prison, that there is no easy walk to freedom. Your years of suffering, your nation's suffering, have borne that out. But just as this past year, so many millions of people in Eastern Europe and elsewhere tasted freedom, so too, South Africa's time will come. As Martin Luther King said on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, we cannot walk alone. Sir, we here in America walk in solidarity with all the South Africans who seek, through nonviolent means, democracy, human rights, and freedom. Once again, it is a sincere privilege to welcome you to the White House, and may God bless you and all the people of South Africa. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.